All right, that's the signal. That was just the signal.
Just the signal.
Yeah, say wake up.
Everybody woke.
That's right. It's time. It's time.
It's time.
It's time for the J Talks Today's Relationship.
J Talks Today. Yay!
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Let's do it. We ready?
Woo.
It's great to be back with you, Jay.
All right.
On J Talks Today's Relationship. This is good, Jay.
All right. Okay. So we're back, and we got this hot topic. We're going to get into it. All right. As you know, we talk about a lot of things. A lot of things. All dealing with relationships. Of every kind.
Yes.
Every kind. You know, we don't want nobody to get it twisted. We're not just talking about couple relations. Every contact with a person establishes some kind of relationship. Even if you want to call it a stranger relationship, it's still a relationship. All right. Okay. So, with that being said, here's the topic of the day. At what point can you say you know someone like the back of your hand? Ooh. At what point? When can you say that you know someone like the back of your hand?
That's a good question, Jay. You know, for the most part, a lot of times we like to think that, if we've known a person for a period of time, then we know them. If we know them, and especially if we're talking about a mate, then, I know him like the back of my hand, or the guy said, I know her, I know her ways, I know his ways, I know, like the back of my hand.
That's what they say.
That's what they say, you know. And so I would like to say that for the most part, I think that if you are in a relationship with somebody, and you made the perfect point, we're not just talking about men and women relationship, cousins, children, brothers and sisters, you like to say, I know them, or you've been around them long enough, you start to notice their habits, their ways, and you say, I know them. I know them.
Yeah, that's what you tend to say.
Yeah.
And I hear people say that, I've heard it being said in past relationships, or even personally. I've heard people say it to other people, and I've even experienced it personally. People come, I'll just use my personal one. I know you. I know you. I know you real good. I know exactly what you would do. I got you down. I know exactly who you are.
Wow.
I was like, really? You sure?
Wow.
You sure you know me?
Wow.
And this is what I have also noticed about some people. I said some. Is that when a person begins to tells a person that they actually, that their claim is that they know them that deeply well. As if they're saying, I know you like I know myself.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. You'll find some people will make an effort to purposely put a monkey wrench in there because some folks don't want you knowing them.
Right. Yeah. Some folks don't want you knowing them like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and the truth of the matter is, Jay, do we really know people like we think we do? Because we talked about this some time ago on the show, in the instance of relationship, a couple relationship, if there's a breakdown in the relationship, whether it be the man or the woman, and they say, I cannot believe that you would do this to me. I would not have ever believed that you would do that to me. And why not? I mean, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, why? Because what, you thought you knew them?
Oh.
You thought you knew her.
Mm-hmm.
You thought you knew him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
do we really ever really know people? You know, now if we're around them long enough, we get to pick up on their mannerisms and certain things they say and do, that type of thing, and you can judge it from there. But you know, do you know them?
Yeah, really.
Do you know them?
Really? Do you really know? And I, because I tend to see, and I'm going to be all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
So y'all get ready. I'm going to be everywhere tonight on this topic dealing with relationships of all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to hear people say that about how well they know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say these phrases, because that is a controlling factor, or I should say a contributing factor to controlling how and setting up how you will react or act towards certain issues and things, or another person. Does have a lot to do with creating the self-image. So when you're saying, I know this person so well, then what I start seeing is a person conforming themselves to a pattern of setting up that this person, because I know them this well, they will never do this or that. Because I know them enough that because they're not doing this or that in their life, that they will never do this or that. Okay?
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I basically could say, well, they would never cuss at me. Or they would never call me out my name. Or they would never raise their voice at me. But when that one day comes, if that one day comes, folk are so thrown out of shape. Because they be like, I thought I knew you. You would never do that to me. Well, never just went out the door because they just did. So never, I guess never really existed.
Right. But then that goes back to, Jay, what I said a little while ago. We like to really believe and feel in our hearts that we know the people that are connected to us. We like to really feel that because that's our way of saying, well, I'm connected to him, I'm connected to her, whatever. And and you even got people like you made a mention of that can also be like a controlling agent too, as well. That people say, I know you better than you know yourself. I mean, how deep is that?
Yeah. Right.
You know me better than I know myself.
Right.
Wow. What kind of, do you have to have in order to know me better than I know myself?
They created you.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, they created you.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's they created you. Ain't you heard that phrase? I made you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's. I was thinking that along that line. If you know me better than I know me. Okay. Yeah.
You wouldn't have been this if it wasn't for me. Oh, they created you.
Okay. So do we really know people, Jay? Do we really know us? Do we really know? Do we really know them?
Well, I tell you, since everything is a relationship, I never really knew my dog, I had a relationship with my dog. I thought he was my pet. It was obedient and everything. Until one day he went out of the yard knowing he wasn't supposed to go out of the yard. I had to chase him all over the neighborhood. Finally get back in the yard, and I was coming at him with my belt. He wanted to snarl at me. I was like, oh no, you didn't. I'm like, oh no, you didn't. Like I was saying, I know you ain't trying to snarl at me. I know you was a good dog. We got me chasing you all around the neighborhood. You been a good dog all this time. Ain't never went out the fence. I can leave the fence open. But now all of a sudden you want to go out on a tour over the neighborhood.
Did you know him?
I didn't know that dog, no crazy dog. I had to get rid of that dog. He was trying to snarl at me.
But you know, and it's not. I'm looking at the fact that you know it's not so much of. But you can't put a whole lot of stock in that. Is what I'm saying when you say I know you, he knows me, we know each other. You can't really put a whole lot of stock in that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it because, like I said, because if you're around a person long enough, you start to pick up on their mannerisms, you know, that things like that. That's okay. But when it gets to the point to where you beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know them and that's it. You know, there's no in between. Look, I know she would never do that. I know him. He would never do that.
I'll tell you another one that's a pretty been in existence for parents for centuries. My kid would never do that.
Oh yeah.
Not my kid. I know my kids because I raised them myself. My kid would never do that because they're always good at home. At home. Because they scared of what you gonna do to them. And but when they get out in the public schools and in these other areas, I don't know how many TV shows. I mean, countless, hundreds and thousands of TV shows. I mean, somewhere there has to be some kind of truth, somewhere that should penetrate your mind to say that it's possible. I mean, so many, you know, but here's the thing that many parents want to say. Well, that's those parents' kids, not my kids.
Yeah.
And until it comes knocking at your door one day in a wake up call, you know, because you didn't really, and I really believe this. There's always signs. Many times we don't pay attention to them.
Right.
We don't pay attention to them.
Right.
You know, I've seen where and listened to some testimonies where some women who were battered, who in the beginning, and how many countless shows have we seen, movies upon movies, and you know, conversations that we heard where, you know, in the beginning when I first met them, they were all nice and sweet and everything, and then I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just too much tension and they snapped and went off, and you know, and now I got two black eyes and, you know, and a swollen up jaw and teeth jagged and a busted chin, you know. I never thought that they would do this to me. You know, and you know, I mean, we've heard these kind of testimonies many times, many times. Not just over the year, not over the decade, not over decades, for centuries.
For a long time.
For centuries.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all guys are like that. I'm just saying when we rule out that there's ever a possibility. I'm not saying you're looking for that possibility to ever manifest or come to life. I'm saying, but when we have solidly, totally ruled out any possibility, because you got to remember, we're not perfect, and this is not a perfect world. We don't know what it might take to persuade somebody, or move somebody in a certain direction, or cause them to flip the script, or snap, or we don't really know. We sometimes don't even know what will make our own self snap. So how can we really put down this precedent that is going to be this way for somebody else?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and you made a great example, you know, Jay. When you say because we don't even know, you know, what we'll do sometimes if we are placed in a position, you know, how many times have we said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I did that," or I can't believe I said that, you know, because evidently it was something at that point in time that you deemed that it was, I guess, necessary maybe for you to do that thing you did or say what you said. And then it was afterwards you'd be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. Right. So that's a prime example of what you just said. You know, we don't know what we do. Yeah. You know, I mean, honestly, if put in a position to do, you know, you just don't know. So, I mean, but it's cute, you know, when you got those around you, and I'm speaking in relationships, you know, now where, you know, you're thinking about something and you might have mentioned something to him and he goes out and he does it, you know, or he can look at you in your eye at that moment and tell, you know, you look like you might be hungry, or you look like you need some sleep, or you look like you need some sleep, or something like that. That's good. I mean, but you know, knowing and it can go, you know, deeper than that. But to truly 100% without a doubt know somebody, no, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe that to be. You know, because we can never really know a person. We can only just, you know, hope for the fact that, you know, okay, I know him to this point, or I know her to that point, or you've experienced that being in a relationship with them, whatever the relationship is. You've been around them long enough that you can pick that up.
Right. And you know, there's a thing that I generally say, because I came to this realization, and is that, and I'm going to try not to get so spiritual. I know I'm gonna go there somewhere along the line. But don't think I'm not because I said that I'm not spiritual. I'm just saying I'm trying to use as much as possible layman terms or more just realistic speech, more so than say let's go to church and have a sermon. No, because one thing I do know is that majority of people, whether you go to church or not, don't like to be preached to. All right, they don't like to be preached to. They prefer to be talked to, and conversated to, but not preached to. And that's because many times the word preach has come down to
like a judgment kind of
right.
Judgment.
Yeah, correct. And so folk, I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm conversating, and this is my conversation. Is that you know, once again, we, you know, one of the things I tend to say is that we many times rule out possibilities, because we tend to say things like, well, you know, I don't want to think about it, or if I say that, it might happen. You know, so I'm not going to, it'll never come out of my lips. I'm going to rule it out of my thought, because if you think it might happen, okay, you asking for it to happen. That is so much folklore and baloney, you know, as the baloney itself. Even though baloney tastes good, but you know. You just yeah. You said I'm just hungry. But you know, if that is really that is misleading when folks say those phrases. You know, I don't want to think about it. That's also the same thing when folks say, you know, they don't want to talk about death, because if I talk about death, I'm going to be calling death upon me, or calling death upon somebody else. That's just as much the same, you know, same craziness and misleadment as anything else. You know, talking about death, you didn't go out and say, well, I'm cursing you to die. You didn't say those words, but discussing death. And really, I still say, we do need to discuss. I know this might sound like it's a little bit off topic, but it's not. We need to discuss.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have a topic about death. We need to discuss about death because it's real. Mm-hmm. It's a reality, and it's a fact that everybody's going to come to die. Mm-hmm. You know what messes up a lot of people in their future is that they don't do things in preparation for death because they say they don't want to talk about it, don't want to discuss it, don't want to bring it up. So when they die, there's a lot of stuff unprepared for. They don't have the insurance in play. They don't have the wheels in play. They don't have a whole lot of things in place that should have been done that would have made it so much easier, easier for the family or those in bereavement to deal with. And, you got folks fighting over whatever the possession, fighting over how the funeral is going to be done. I'm going to tell y'all folks, I got my funeral already laid out. Laid out to the side.
Right. And let me just say this, Jay, while we're talking about it, I don't know how we got on the subject, but it's a great time. People is important. It's important. It's important. You don't realize how important it is to be prepared for this. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like to discuss it, but guess what? It's not for you, because when you go, you just go. You go.
Yeah, you go.
It's for your family that's left behind to have to pick up and do what needs to be done after you're gone. Okay, so now, if you haven't prepared, like you said, Jay, if you haven't prepared, and you go and your family have to figure out where they're going to get the money from because you don't have any burial insurance, life insurance policy or whatever. They got to figure out where they're going to get the money from, how many people they can call to get the money. Somebody going to have some, somebody ain't going to have none. It's a headache. I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I know. It's a headache. So prepare. So how do you prepare? And you might be saying, well, how do you prepare for that? Start with looking into getting some kind of life insurance. Now, you don't have to go out and get $1 million policy or anything like that. Get something because I can imagine that everybody is trying to save and budget and get something that you can afford, but just get something because it's not for you, it's for your family.
Yeah. And here's another thing. This can go toward both of these issues, that issue and the topic, because here's what I've also heard. I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to deal with this. I know my family, they'll be able to get it done. They'll be, so you saying you know your family that well, all right, that they're going to get it done. But the key thing you forget is how smooth would it be for the family? How much drama it might be for the come on now. If you, and you know what, young people even have realized this by seeing, they may not have been involved in the planning of the funeral or the burial and all that and what take place. The younger generation, however, or youth, if I could say that, they may not have been involved in the business part of all that. However, they are around the people that are doing it, and they see and they hear. Yeah. So they get a type of experience of what it's about and what takes place. It's not in their responsibility, but they see what takes place, and they see the family getting all torn up. Yeah. They see the family going at it, and fighting and man, I've seen families that are totally that because at the time of death and bereavement, that they're trying to get this loved one, supposedly loved one, together for a funeral or some type of burial, or even if it's cremation, but whatever. All right, and you might not like this term of words, but it is valid. The disposal of the body. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I know people be like, my body ain't gonna be disposed of when I die.
I'm gonna be buried properly.
For the lingo with funeral homes and morticians And medical examiners is disposal of the body, because your body is being disposed of some kind of way, either in the ground or cremated. All right. Okay, unless you out there on some long lost forgotten island somewhere, and they may just leave, like the movie I was watching where they were up in the Arctic mountains, and this blizzard came and froze half of the team, and they couldn't do nothing but just leave them there on the rocks. So their bodies were disposed on the cliffs of the mountain. Yeah. But that is the term, people. Okay. We get so sensitive about honest, true, factual stuff. Yeah. And which tends to blind us so much, just like what we say. We know these people. We know people. We know folks so well. And I'm gonna take this a little bit past couple relationships or family relationships. We just had this election, and I tend to sit back and I listen to which the election was with candidates was Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and the election finalized with Donald Trump becoming the America's next president for a 4-year term. But here's what I also, what concerned me was all of Donald Trump's rhetoric. I'm not going to say rhetoric. Rhetoric sometimes is just words that people just say, but we don't know if that's words that he was just saying. You know, folk just throwing stuff out. Before he was elected, Donald Trump made statements. It wasn't more rhetoric. It wasn't really rhetoric. It was statements, and they were presented as promising agenda statements, not rhetoric. Even though the media use that term many times, but if you look up the word rhetoric, you will find out that rhetoric is not really a really good, appropriate classification for the way Donald Trump spoke, and such as, you know, building the wall, deporting all immigrants, which of course his wife is, you know, which shows a little hypocritical. But I'm just saying some facts, just some facts. And you know, he made some statements of agenda that he actually made promises on. Not just, you know, I'm just jive talking. Right. You know, I'm not. Yeah.
He said he gonna do it.
Yeah, he made a profound statement saying this shall be done. Okay, so when folk are now, after his election, are now protesting, people on that voted for him and who are in his camp make this kind of claim. Well, I know Donald Trump, and he was just talking a lot of mess, and he would not do that. Well, the same thing that they also said about trying to cover up for him, to say, well, I know Donald Trump, and he does not abuse, these are some of his same people, he does not abuse or take advantage of women. When later it's proven, and there all these stories, and harassment charges are that he has
taking advantage of women.
And and so when he has a history, and the other thing that, well, I know Donald Trump, and he puts a lot of people to work, and he takes care of people, but yet they came up. There are several suits about him hiring folk to do work and don't pay people. and don't pay people. Okay. So I'm just saying, when you're making that statement, well, I know Mr. Trump so well that he wouldn't do this. But what happens? Well, what happens when the statement you're making is in clash with what's being presented?
Right.
Okay. And the next thing is when is evidence that there is an opposing presentation to what you're saying, then the question is, do you state, and this is a valid word, but it may be conflicting with someone's preference of interest, this word. Do you state ignorant, all right, and continue to say, well, I know Donald Trump wouldn't do this, when it's showing the pattern, the proof, and okay, now watch this. This goes. Now I'm just talking about the president, but it also goes back to even other relationships. Does it go to where a person says, okay, I know this person, and they wouldn't hit me, but somewhere they lost their cool and they hit you. And so now here's what you have an option now. You're either going to be calling it what it is. Well, they hit me. I know they got a capability to hit me. All right. I don't know if they'll ever do it again, but now I realize they have it in there.
It's in them.
Yeah, that they could hit me. I pray that it don't ever happen again, but I know that they might haul off and hit me. They can, because they just presented it. Or do you say, oh, I just hit me. I can't believe you did that, but I know you, because I know that's not in you to do that. I know, but they just hit you. But you saying, I know that's not in you to do this.
That's not like you.
That's not like you.
That's not,
Okay.
I know it's the alcohol.
Right. I know it's the alcohol. I know it's the drug. I know it's you got pressure. You got and you just don't know how to handle it. I know it's this.
Right.
Okay. All right. How many times does it take?
Yeah, that's the question.
How many times does it take before you actually call it what it is? Now listen again. I'm going to say it again. It's not that you're wishing that it happen again, or totally looking for it to happen again, but that it's better for you if you say to yourself, this happened. I know it's a possibility. It could happen because it happened. You can't make what happened go away.
Right.
Now you can forgive, but that doesn't mean what happened didn't take place.
Right. And
because we get that. Well, I know you want to say, but because here's what we get mixed up. We have said this, and so we have conformed to this being the way it's supposed to be, especially church folk or Christians or religious folk. Forgive and forget. There's nothing in the Bible that says forget. All right? Now, God even himself, Christ even himself, said he forgives you. But watch it, what it says. Here comes the forget part. There's never forgotten everything, because it says it'll be written in the book, everything that we did. So, God never scratched nothing off that we did. He never forgot, and he has not forget, will not forget. But he forgives, and there's a difference. So we keep saying forgive and forget. So you have psyched yourself out to place that thing as if it never happened, because you have totally played a psychological game on yourself.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, good.
So in the instance, like in a relationship where there's physical abuse taking place, and it happens the one time. It was a saying that a long time ago, if a person does it to you one time, they'll do it again. So in a case like that, so why even take the chance of it being a second time? Because see, what starts happening is that it becomes a pattern. Then the abuser starts saying, okay, well, I can keep on doing it because they're not going to do anything about it. It becomes a pattern. So why take that chance? Okay, so now it becomes a pattern. You stay in a relationship. It becomes a pattern. Did you know them? So now you have to ask yourself the question, did I really know him like I thought I did? Because I wouldn't have never thought he would have hit me the first time, but he did. But now he hits me every day. You know, and it's not funny, but I mean, do you really know him? You know, how much do you think your mate loves you? You know, I didn't think you would do that. I thought you loved me. How could you do this to me?
Right.
You know, do you really know him? And that goes across the spectrum on every boy. Do we really know? Do we really know? And we have to, really ask ourselves the question. And I think, and Jay, you made a good point that if we keep our minds open to the fact that there is a possibility that, and it doesn't mean you don't love them any less, but you have to keep your mind open. That they might do it. It just might happen. Right. It just could happen.
Right. Yeah, we get that a little confused because we had a show on that, and I'm gonna bring that back up again to do a part 2 on that, on the trust factor. Do we really trust people the wrong way? And we really do. We put trust in people the wrong way. Actually, according to the scriptures, if you're religious at all, have any inkling of religious minded self in you. Here's what the scriptures say. The scriptures say, if I remember the count, I think it's 37 times. It says it in different forms, but it has the same summary. Do not put trust in a human.
Amen.
It says man, which is human.
Right.
Do not put trust in a human. All right. Do not.
Do not.
Okay. All right. What part of do not do we not understand? Do not put trust. Yet it says hope in men. Put hope in humans. All right. When you put hope in something, it's not a promise.
That is going to be.
It's going to be. Yeah. It's a 50-50 margin.
Yeah.
It is exactly what it means. You're hoping. Meaning you don't know.
Right.
But if it happens, you're appreciative of it. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to tear you down that you can't keep going forward.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
But because we go beyond what hope is and start establishing what trust, and put it in folk the wrong way, which is not supposed to be applied, then if it doesn't happen, we're tore up and we're disgusted. We can't go forward.
Yes.
Because we have over the word trust, jumped over the heads of hope and jumped in the lead and left hope behind. And so we have a distorted view. Like again, I'm not saying you're wishing, looking for it to happen. But when somebody's fulfilling something, you do find appreciation for it. You find much more appreciation for it. If you had a little bit more expectation or a little room to say that it's possible, if the thing that was possible happens, you have a little cushion of room to be a little bit more tolerant with it. You do.
Yes, but if it don't,
then you're very happy. Yeah, you're very happy.
Yes.
You ready to leap over buildings in a single bound.
Yeah. But see, and that's where, I think that fine line comes in, Jay. We have to, keep our minds open to the fact of the possibility. It's nothing wrong with believing in, in your mate, and it's nothing wrong with, but it's nothing wrong with that. But when you get to that point to where you just putting your everything, your all into them, you setting yourself up for hurt. You setting yourself up for hurt.
Yeah, you really do, because there are instructions, really, folks, religiously speaking, in the Bible that point out a whole lot of practices and patterns of life that will help us, and that actually teaches us that there is a safe margin to roll with in this worldly life. Not the life after this worldly life. This life. Because God knows how this life is set up. Yes. This worldly life is set up, and it operates. And there are no promises in this particular life. Okay? There are no promises. There's only promises in the afterlife. Those that make it. Those that make it. Yeah, those that make it. That enter in. But we do. And boy, we go. I know this is a little bit off subject too. But boy, how we go to church, and we be praying God to fix folk. Lord, fix it, Lord, fix it.
They need fix them, Lord.
Fix it, Lord, fix it. Lord Jesus, I'm calling on your name, fix it. Then we seal it in Jesus' name. Fix it. Then we want to sing the song. Jesus, he will fix it. Jesus, he will fix it. Oh yeah, he'll fix it. He gonna fix that man and that woman to get right. All right.
That's his way, y'all. Don't
All right. I got some mad folk right now.
I know. Yes you do. Yes you do. That's not me.
They gonna hunt me down in church.
Call in.
Yeah. Don't call Tyrone. Call Jack.
Call in.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, there are many that tend to do this, and let me share this, and I'm making a pretty good habit about sharing this. Okay, we always have to keep in mind that what we're really doing is mocking God, and because somebody's lying somewhere. Either we're lying about God fixing it, and lie to ourselves about it, or God is lying. So somebody's lying somewhere. Okay, so let's see if we can get down to where the lie is at.
It ain't hard to figure it out.
No, it's not hard to figure out, and it is real simple. You start with that God gave you, every one of us, free will. So if he gave us free will, he don't make nobody do anything. All right, he gives us free will. And for God to come in and just fix the person, in other words, take control and make them be right, remold them, make them, all right. God doesn't do that kind of fixing. Now God has a way of fixing, but not that way that we tend to make it look like. That God will take it by force and make a person just make them different. No, God does things by invitation, and he don't come in. Like God is a great cook, but and you might be a bad cook, but you say, God, come fix this. I need you to fix it. somebody praying, somebody eating your food, and they praying, God, go over there to Sister Nene's house and fix her food. Fix that cooking. Fix it, Lord. Fix that cooking. I'm praying in Jesus' name. Fix that food cooking. It's bad, Lord. God is not going to just go to that Nene's house, unlock the door, walk right in, say, give me these pots, sit down, you ain't cooking today, I'm going to cook, and cook the meal. No, God has a website that Nene can go to, invite God to come over to our house and say, Lord, I need you to come on in this house and help me get this food cooked, because I'm making a mess of it. And so God will say, yeah, I'll come and help you out. As a matter of fact, I'll come in. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to be right there with you, and I'm going to share with you. I'm going to be talking to you the whole way through. You're going to do the work, but I'm going to be talking to you. I'm going to tell you how to do it. You start with this right side pan. You start with this. All right, no, don't beat it too hard. He going to talk to you the whole way through till you get it, till it's a finished product. Because then, and even though you're doing the work, it was actually God, because you didn't know how to do it. So God came in and gave you his skills because you invited him to come over. He gave you his skills, his know-how, his wisdom, and his way of how he would do it, and transferred it into you, and so that you can carry on, and now you can cook like a chef, like God.
Okay, Joe, you explained that well.
Well, I explained that well. Then put that down.
You explained that.
And put it down.
You explained that well.
Okay.
So how well do we really know people?
Okay.
I don't ever remember saying that too often, because I know somewhere along the line you don't really know. Like, my main point is that we don't really know we don't know ourselves. We don't know what we're capable of doing. We don't know what we do,
Mm-hmm.
And so do we really know people? I mean, do we really know those around us? Do we really know our mates? Do we really know them? That's a fine line.
Really? Solid answer really is, actually, we really never know anybody. We may know them. I believe that we can know a person probably up to about 70-75%.
Okay.
I would give it as high as that. We don't know people to a certain degree, to fully. We don't. There are innermost things in people that just really is not, and I do believe this. It's not that everybody is just holding it in. It's just that it's never thought of to even bring it out. So there's inside there internal residues in a person that may never come out. It may not ever come out in a conversation that a person telling you about themselves. One day it may come out, not in the form of words, but in form of action, or in form, some other form unpreferable of how you wanted it to come out. Okay, I mean, it can come out in the form of words. So, how many times have you been talking to somebody? Somebody who you know for a period of time, and they told you something, and you go, I never knew that about you. Right. And this was just recently, right. I never knew that about you. And what show that used to come on TV that I absolutely love, and it's sort of along the topic of what we're talking about. I used to love to watch this show. It was called The Dating Game, and that game was based upon how well do you know your husband or your wife. And so, of course, Bob Eubanks would ask the questions, and they would have to match the answers up.
you know, and then you only had, you know, one couple that was the winner. So I think that was a good example on, you know, knowing your mate, knowing your husband, knowing your wife, you know, in instances like that. But even in that, it's still no guarantee.
Right, it's still no guarantee.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm gonna read this outline, okay? And because when we say those things, what we actually do is lie to ourselves. It's really a lie. That's what deception is actually a lie. That's what deception is. Deception, another word for deception is lie. So we can, and the greatest deception is the deception we do to ourselves, because really nobody can really deceive you except you allow it. Now, whether or not you were on your guard, on point, bottom line is you still allowed them because you was not on your guard. You know, you was slack.
Yeah.
That's still your responsibility. Yeah. Here it is, called The Biggest Lie Ever Told. Oh yeah, we gotta go there. Biggest lie ever told. Okay, all right. We probably gonna close out with this. All right, now it's pretty lengthy, so listen up, folks. All right. As I listen to the voices of what people often say, you know, like I can't stand a lie and I hate a lie being told to me. Oh, we hear that one so much. However, what reality has guided my eyes to see is nothing else but the difference. The truth is that it's not the lies that people tell us that hurt us and have been transformed for everybody to think. It's not the deceptive manipulations that sneak up against us when our minds are not awake, in other words, sleep. Nor is it the myths that have no evidence of proof that we find so easily and readily to believe. You know that one though. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. I love you. I'm gonna be good to you. And they only been knowing them for 2 weeks. But they like, but they run around. Don't been knowing them for 2 weeks in a relationship for 2 weeks. My man just love me to death. But you have been knowing them together 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Ain't had no proof or nothing yet. No proof. All right, that could go back to Donald Trump too. But anyway. Alright, but we find it so easily and readily to believe. The sweet nothings and the sugar coatings that we so desire to be told, and Lord, we love to be told sweet nothings because it sounds so nice, which falls short from the tree whose lips utter words that strokes downwards a downward bliss. It seems as though the truth of things is that we put so much energy on focusing on the lie that the lie becomes absorbed to function and control our patterns of thinking, and that lie that disgusts us so much that we just always, I can't stand somebody lying to me. That lie that disgusts us so much seemingly has found a way to be accepted in our lives. And we make decisions for our next day and the future status because of the infection called the lie. You know, like in couple relationships, when we see signs of dislike character in the person, but we deceptively tell ourselves that it's really not that way. We do that. We the people do that a lot. Yeah. Or make all kinds of excuses. Oh, I know you were just a little too tired. That's why you cracking up on me. You know, you ain't getting enough sleep. That's why you called me the B word, because I'm just saying. All right. And then when it comes to family associations, we are so ready to. Oh, I love this one. We are so ready to fight everybody anybody from committing the same wrongdoing that we have done to the family. You let somebody call in your family a B word or side of their name. You ready to go fight them. But you be calling your mama and everybody else a B word. But you know what? Right. But you let it fight. Anybody outside the home call them that. Or anything they do, anything. They steal something from the house. But you've been stealing for 5 years. They just stole one time. Because you're on some kind of addiction. Yeah. And you trying to support it. But you've been stealing out of the house. And now somebody comes steal out of your house.
Now you mad.
Yeah, you ready to go shoot them up. Do a drive-by or something. Alright, just saying. Alright. And say that the family always sticks together. But the truth is, many families are so dysfunctional. And when it comes to the gender classifications and the gay rights movement, I know some folks gonna get mad now. We have adopted and accepted so easily the excuse and lie when it said, I was born this way. Even made songs like that. Boy George.
Boy George had a song?
He had a song, yeah. Yeah.
I don't
and what's the other girl? Who had the song Born This Way?
I don't know.
Yeah. But Boy George had a song. But anyway.
Okay.
I was born this way. When the genitals that lay between your legs say differently.
Yeah.
Because here's one thing, even all gays, lesbian, LGBT knows this part. And especially in the gay rights church, they know this part. Because we know the truth from a historic Bible that God made male genitals from female genitals and the same in reverse. But they will still ignore that and say stuff to support themselves. Okay. And like when it comes to politics, how we see the truth of how the Republican Party has done America a great injustice. Like when they play dirty political games and shut down the government to satisfy their tantrums.
Right. Yeah.
But we want to say also, as America say, well, they're the way to lead us out of, and they were the ones responsible for everybody, a lot of people losing their homes, all this craziness. I'm just saying, the truth is right there in front of us. Okay. All right. And yet, as the Constitution says, that everybody, red, black, white, even blue, are all creeds, all creeds, all different races, be treated fair and equal. That's what the Constitution says. Is definitely far from the truth. However, there are some that will say that the Republican way is the right way. Y'all serious? I mean, after all that we have witnessed, and you will say that the Republican way is the right way. I'm just saying. And like when it comes to religion and denominations, oh, come on, church. We got to get a sermon now. How can there be so many churches and religious organizations but want to assist the other on the same cause and will get up and boldly say in church and in the pulpit that we are all one body on the same cause, serving the Lord, but also seem to be so isolated and selfish as they move about with agendas that they claim that they're doing it in the service of the Lord, but won't lift a finger to go help another church or attend another service. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's all. I'm just saying. Okay. The biggest lie ever told. Y'all hear what I'm saying? That. Okay. Really? Is this really the defining of when we say, what would Christ do? Is this really the way of Christ? Alright, I'm just saying. The truth is that it's neither the lie nor the liars that we hate so much. nor the deception, nor the manipulation, nor the misleading info, nor the sweet nothings that we dislike or hate. But the real honest thing that is real deep, truth is, that is ourselves. It's self that we actually dislike. We just don't want to call it that. We want to put it on everybody else. But if you really take a look, it's yourself. Why is this? Alright, guys, I'm really getting ready to get deep, because it's really getting ready to get to where you brace yourself. Alright? If you got a seat buckle it in. Okay. If we accept anything that is other than the hard, straightforward truth, or solid, not fictitious, not fantasy, not wishful, solid, proven facts, then we have deceived ourselves. Not someone else, for no one can deceive you unless you allow them to. And if you say that you're intelligent and smart, then of course the reverse of that is you're saying that you're not ignorant or a fool. But here's the next question. Or are you? Okay? That's the next. Just saying. If you're saying that you're intelligent and smart, because it is also said biblically that the truth of a tree is known by the bearing of its fruit. So if the tree is said to be intelligent and smart, then the bearing of the fruit will be that you will see the outcome of performance operating in making smart, intelligent choices. Just saying. That's true. Okay. It's hard, but it's true.
Come on, Jay.
All right. Just saying. Okay. Because, as I see it, I'm not a Democrat, nor a Republican, nor a liberal, nor a conservative. I'm voting for peace, tranquility, and a happy, organized society for the benefit of all people. Because you see, truth is that we're all in the United States together, and no matter what your creed is or wealth status is, we all will deal with this thing together. Okay? The profound injustice at someone else's door will soon be found in dwelling injustice at doors of unimaginable and unthinkable places and areas. You will always say, oh, that only happens in the hood. Right. But when it comes into your rich neighborhood, you never thought it would get what happened around there. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay. Because injustice has no address. Okay. So then having a selfish attitude to get me mine is also a lie that we have consumed in our lives. And if we vote to elect those to office to represent our voice and to serve us, the people of the United States, in the same way that many choose their mates to be in a relationship, then expect that our great country, and why they made that statement, make the United States great again, America great again. When has it not been greater than the other countries? It has always been great, even with its downfall. It has still been the greatest country.
If that's the case, so many people wouldn't be trying to still come over here.
Why so many people fail for that lie? Make America great again, like it failed from being great and someone else, another country was greater than. It has never fallen below the line of being greater than other countries. Now if they had said make America greater than what it is, I could go with that. But okay, alright. That our great country will cease to grow and continue to spiral downhill. Why compare politics to relationships? Why statistics say that at least 60% of love relationships, that is dating and to marriage, break off at least at least when one of them has said, I made a bad choice, in other words, in their mind or out loud, and becoming an ever-growing domino effect, in other words, when they come to that realization that the relationship is over. Because they finally come to the realization, I made a bad choice.
Yeah.
But look what all they had to go through.
To realize.
Okay. Think about that. And this is relating politics to relationship. Why do we see the lie, then add it as an ingredient in the mix of our lives, bake and cook it with false expectations? Alright? That it will turn out somehow to be different. False expectation. In other words, you making a cake. So somebody done told you that you can make a cake, make this yellow cake with no eggs. Okay, a yellow cake. And eggs is very necessary for a cake. Very, extremely necessary for a cake. All right. That you see this lie, you know it's a lie, but you gonna go ahead and say, well, maybe I could just try it anyway, and see what happens. With false expectation, that's what I'm saying. You know it ain't gonna work, all right? Yeah. And all of a sudden you come across this joke, this area, it says no egg. You know it ain't gonna work, but you go ahead and take it on in. False expectation, and somehow think that it would turn out different. Only to find out later, after all your invested time and all of your hard work and everything else that was involved in the recipe of your life came out with a nasty, unforgettable taste, to now realize that the ingredient, the lie, should have never been added to the mix. When you knew shouldn't have been done in the first place. Okay? I shouldn't have never went there in the first place. But some people have not realized that there are some ingredients that bring about an unpleasant result. Because they claim they know them. I'm just saying. A chef studies and knows every ingredient to the point that they know. A chef, that's what makes them a chef. Because they're really good in knowing every one of the ingredients. And they know what works with each other. So they know what won't work and what will. Okay, what will.
Their expertise.
Right, their expertise. Alright, because they're paying attention. That's all it is. They studying. They taking in. They calling it what it is, what they have learned, rather than to give excuses or say or be stuck on the, well, I'm gonna make it work, like against all odds. Okay, just saying. Trying to give the idea of the chef. Okay, the effect of each ingredient will have in their mix. Accepting a known bad ingredient that can surely ruin a clash of good taste is a strictly no-no. If we choose because of popularity, wealth, being, stroke, good looks, personal material, possessions, fame, and sweet words that haven't been checked or proven before we take them into our lives, whether relationships or political, and accepting what we are not sure of would edify this statement. We were not honest with ourselves about what is acceptable. The effort to achieve this has less to do with the classifications, but rather the truth and provability about the candidate that we accept. And remember, any contact that you have with another person connects you to a relationship of some kind, whether marriage, couples, dating, school, crime, even crime, family, friends, church members, job, business, in-law, political, sex, sexual situations, divorce, separations, religion, that goes on and on and on. And if you really don't think that's true, then that's a lie. So now, if y'all heard that, can y'all really handle that truth? Can you really handle that truth? Because truth cuts.
Yeah. Truth cuts. I don't know you, Jay. That's my last word. I don't know you. I really don't.
Oh. Well, I'm glad to know that. I don't even know what I just did. I don't even know me. Did I do that? Did I just say that? I did that. All right. Well, at least one thing I do know, I guess it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that I do know too. Yeah.
All right. I do know that, but
that's
all right.
That's right.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
She